Good afternoon. My name is Zara Nordstrom, and today I'll be sharing with you a news report brought to you by the STARLING News blog. As of late, posts of U.S. citizens seen replacing their traditional national flag with a black version of the same flag have begun circulating on social media feeds. Here in Canada, we only have one national flag. None of its variations are in use. What was found during research are details I believe many foreigners should take into account for the sake of their safety when visiting the United States. This article explores the symbolism tied to that black flag and what you should probably do if you encounter one, if you're not a U.S. citizen. First and foremost, this black flag should not be confused with the Black American Heritage flag. The black flag in question, as seen in those posts, is identical to the modern national flag of the United States, except for its colors. They've all been replaced with varying shades of black. In no way does this flag represent the African American subculture. The flag was reportedly used during times of civil wars to identify those who would spare none in their fight to support their political endeavors and maintain their freedom, or die trying. Raising a black flag was antonymous to raising a white flag of surrender. Other sources state that, in addition to the latter, it was a sign that anyone who might be perceived as an enemy faction or as a threat to their freedom, should they be present on the property on which the flag was raised, might be met with violence. The motto that accompanies the black national flag, as long as it's being used for the reasons just mentioned, is "No quarter shall be given," which is equivalent to saying, "No mercy shall be given to my enemies." In America's present, some people have begun raising their black flag in the name of the Trump clan and its politics. Some, on the other hand, raise their flag to advocate that no quarter shall be given in the pursuit of freedom. On the opposite spectrum of violence and war, I found articles that explained the U.S.'s black national flag is sometimes used to identify that those who raised it are in mourning, having lost one of their soldiers. My research eventually led me down a rabbit hole of sorts. In that rabbit hole, I was removed from the history of American civil wars and military funeral practices, then brought to the fantastic world of pirates. Long story short, there are some historians who believe it likelier that the black flag was originally created for pirates, by pirates. They thought the flags were used as a way to identify people who would engage in acts of piracy both on land and in the open ocean. The black skull and crossbone Jolly Roger flag was one of the most common examples of black pirate flags used throughout American history. As foreigners, we can't assume what this flag represents to the people who raise them or bear them. We still have to keep in mind that this flag has predominantly been used as a warning that those who are displaying it are ready to take violent, decisive action to uphold their political beliefs and their freedom on their property. That, or they're pirates. You'd think the latter was unlikely, but there are still pirates out there, so the possibility can't fully be ruled out. Are the United States on the brink of civil war? President Donald Trump has proven to be a threat to the very soul of his nation, as he attacks both the American Constitution as well as his people's basic human rights to achieve his obscured goals. Economic disaster looms throughout the U.S. as Trump initiates trade wars with his three former greatest allied nations, Canada, Mexico, and China. He continues to dismantle what social and healthcare systems had been set in place to support LGBTQA+ communities, along his country's involvement with the World Health Organization, which affects all U.S. citizens. He punishes and nearly ends companies for their diversity, equity, and inclusion practices. Trump even targets for deportation minorities among his legal citizens and remains in the process of abolishing the laws that protect them to make it happen, even after a federal judge intervened. Adding to that chaos and injustice, Trump has even taken the time to send the disturbing message to all U.S. women that he believes they should no longer legally have full rights to choose what happens to their body, intending to restrict access to birth control and make abortions illegal in the U.S. Although on the federal level, the law that would make abortions illegal hasn't yet passed. Reportedly, there are already 12 states that have either outlawed or severely restricted abortions. Why does that matter? Some women need abortions for a variety of medical reasons, including dangerous pregnancies that are at risk of killing the mother, or severe medical abnormalities found in the fetus that would prevent the child from having any form of healthy, normal life. Should that federal law pass, pregnancy-related death rates will be in the rise, to say the least. All these negative changes happened in a matter of weeks after Donald Trump was sworn into office. Speaking of inaugurations, Elon Musk, one of Trump's greatest endorsers, made a distinct hand gesture, twice, in fact, on stage during Trump's inauguration ceremony. Notable officials from both Germany and Austria, including Austria's character Thomas Weitz, Berlin's Amadeo Antonio Foundation, and more, have identified that gesture of Musk's as a veritable Nazi salute. To many, that incident is thought to be Musk's way of coming out to the world as a neo-Nazi. However, that will remain a matter of opinion and not fact until Elon states he has won publicly, in words as well as gestures, next time. Supporting that popular opinion is the fact that not a week after the outrage on stage, Musk made multiple jokes in bad taste about the Holocaust via social media. As Musk's words and actions continue to paint him in this new, unfavorable light, it becomes no longer a wonder why Elon was stating he might stop visiting countries that don't protect freedom of speech, some time ago in 2024. Since that inauguration, people have posted recordings on social media of neo-Nazis protesting in the streets of the United States. Some of the latter include a video posted by a woman of the Short North District of Columbus, Ohio. That video depicted a group of individuals with pale-colored skin dressed in black who covered their faces with what seemed like black bandanas and hats. Those people were carrying black flags of a different kind. Those flags, they bore a red Nazi swastika at their center. Some among the protesters were also reportedly carrying arms with them, inciting the fear that they might harm those of different ethnic and religious background than themselves, as they yelled out through a megaphone insults aimed towards them while they marched down the city's urban streets. No law enforcement in sight. I would like to note that there is no such thing as white or black people. From the palest beige to the darkest of chocolates, we human beings are all varying shades of melanin brown. This form of colorblind racism has no place in a world that's proven that in diversity there is an abundance of wisdom and strength that could never be cultivated by homogeneity. We must not make excuses for racism, or normalize it in any way. It will only set us back in our evolution as a species here on planet Earth. I also would like to note that not all swastikas are related to Nazi Germany. Many of them predate Germany by innumerable hundreds of years. Those ancient swastikas are predominantly Hindu symbols that gained popularity among its philosophical branch of Buddhism. Neither the Asian religion nor its philosophical branch have values similar to those upheld by Nazis, past or present. How do you tell the difference between a Nazi swastika and a Hindu or Buddhist swastika? The Nazi swastika will be the only one where the wheel is turned in a way that all of its lines are diagonal. Some believe that these recent neo-Nazi protests are a direct result of Musk being tolerated by people in government like Trump and select others worldwide. If that belief is a fact, so long as Trump remains the head of the country, with Elon at his side, things will only get worse until his rule ends. Heads of states stand divided as many praise Trump, while others condemn him. In less than 1 month's time, a total of 22 states have made their intentions to sue the felon president along with his administration clear. Court cases have as much power to divide families and communities as they have the power to bring them together. In this case, those trials might just end up being the sparks that light the fires of civil war. May we all pray the latter never comes to pass. Justice must prevail. Chaos continues to unfold daily in the United States, so much so that some wonder if Trump hasn't become the mere puppet of an unseen force whose goal is the death of the American dream. Why else make so many uninformed, illogical, and unpatriotic decisions that would jeopardize so severely the stability of his entire nation. Is this really what Trump had envisioned for his country, while he sung to the world that he would make America great again? Did his voters not take a moment to ask which part of American history he aimed to revive? In conclusion, dear travelers, I advise you to avoid as much as possible any property on which black U.S. national flags or black flag-bearing red swastikas are located. You'd otherwise be at risk of getting caught in the proverbial crossfire, given the current state of affairs. It's important that you keep the changes this country is undergoing in mind, as they might affect your experiences while journeying through the states. It's just as important to remember that Donald Trump and Elon Musk's ideals and goals are in no way accurate representations of the ideals and goals of all U.S. citizens. If that were the case, black flags would not have been raised by people saying, "No quarter given," for the sake of preserving freedom and human rights in 2025. No matter who you are or where you come from, be vigilant. Find ways to peacefully persevere, never be afraid to ask for help, and be safe. My name is Zara Nordstrom, and thank you for watching this segment on American History in the Making.